So now that we've added both the demo controller or controller in and our relay switch, which looks like the outlet, you can see our lights are on. Okay, what this relay switch does, if I were to turn it off, it is going to actually kill the power to your entire system. So if customers are like, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? It's because their demo relay switch isn't turned on, okay? The reason this is important is because this can kill the power to the whole system. So you don't have current running through the lights or that fan that is on. It can kill the power to that fan, so that fan is running constantly throughout the day, okay? So if this is off, and then I go into my app, and I'm trying to change things and turn them on, it's not going to work. They're not gonna come on. So you have to go out and make sure your relay switch is on, okay? And then now your system will work, okay? So now for the purposes of setting up your controller, let's go into our controller, okay? As you can see, we have zone 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're not using 4 or 3. And so we're just gonna start with zone 1. And right now we're gonna go zone 1. We're gonna go to settings. We're gonna make sure that our color is correct, right? Red, next, green, next, blue, finish, okay? And then we wanna do the number of lights, okay? So you wanna delete this down all the way to the correct number of lights. So on this system, you only have 10 lights, I believe. There's less than that, but let's just say it's 10. Or let's say it's 100 lights in this. We're gonna hit save. We have 100 lights in zone 1. Then we're gonna go over to zone 2, and we're gonna do the same thing, settings, color calibration, make sure everything's good in our zone. Okay. And then we're gonna go to the number of light settings here, okay? So with this one, we are going to count out the number of lights. If you have to just do it, one by one to figure out where you're at exactly, okay? So this one, we have 10 lights. It's a short home run, we have 10. We're gonna go ahead and hit save on that. What our team does is they screenshot that, so we know that there's 10 lights on zone 2 and there's 100 lights on zone 1, okay? Go ahead and save that. That doesn't really matter too much. You're mainly doing this so you can figure out how many lights are in your system, so you know how many linear feet are installed. So I'm gonna go back. What I'm gonna do is, because these are all in one zone, you can leave them separate if you want. Typically, with the front of the house, we are gonna go and we're gonna create a group, and we're gonna just combine all the lights, okay? We're gonna say all lights. Okay, confirm. And then what we're gonna do is go back into our settings, and we're gonna do number of light settings, and we're gonna make sure that that is set at 100. Because if your zone 1 has 100 and zone 2 has 10, it can sometimes, when you combine them all, revert to just 10 lights in the system. And so at that point, if it reverts to 10 lights in the system, then your zone that has 100 will cut it all the way down to where you only have 10. And so what you want to do is make sure this is set at your largest run of lights, and then go ahead and hit save for the overall system. Okay, and now what's going to happen is you're going to go into themes, and they're all changed together, okay? And that way you don't have to worry about the customer being confused between switching to their different zones. Now, obviously, if they have a front porch and a back porch, I would separate those zones, but you can also combine them together for the customer. It's really easy. You just would hit the delete button, and that would separate out your zones back into its normal settings. But I like to put them all together. Just it's a lot less confusing for the customer. And then now they can control them together and make patterns and save them. It'll work pretty seamlessly, okay? And then the last thing is if they don't like that fan, obviously they can shut off the lights. From there, it'll kill power to the entire controller and the fan. You can also go in and they can set up a schedule on this so that it's off during the day and on at night. And so they can do that. We typically like to set, not from here, we typically like to go into smart and add a smart calendar in. Here's one that I've pre-created off at sunrise. So our relay switch is going to kick off at sunrise, and then you'll have another calendar and then you want to, it'll be off. So you actually want to turn that back on. So it comes off at sunrise, save that. And then we're gonna add another one. We're gonna have it actually on sunset. We're gonna have it turn on at sunset. We're gonna find our demo relay next. We're gonna add an on, confirm, and now it's gonna switch on relay. On, done. Okay, and so that's something you can do so that the customer doesn't have that fan going throughout the day. Now, all they have to know is that if this is off and it's during the daytime and they wanna go in and like create, you know, different stuff and mess with their system, they just have to go in and manually turn that light switch on, so then they can go in and mess with the system, okay? So it's pretty cool, but it helps with that fan noise that the customer's experience, and helps, you know, kill power, especially when you're installing.
If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on more easy-to-follow guides for Halo smart lights and other smart home tips.